Greetings and salutations, fine people. I'm Patti Alvarez. Welcome to The Good Soul, a show where we'll have supercharged chats with everyday humans from all walks of life and unpack what in their story will inspire us all. We'll extract the untapped wisdom, distill it, and serve it up to you in all the right ways that will engage, enlighten, and most of all, inspire growth within your soul. I think people are awesome. So join me on this journey through the hearts and minds of ordinary people to uncover the good soul within you. This is The Good Soul. Hello and welcome to The Good Soul, episode 26. Woo! Today we'll be talking about how to stop worrying and start living based on the Dale Carnegie book with the same title, written in 1948. That's 8 years after my dad died.
Wow.
So none of us are a stranger. Eight years after my dad was born.
That's what I'm going to say.
So, none of us are a stranger to worry. Did you know that 95% of the things that we worry about don't even come to fruition? Our minds are often clouded by ambitions and goals and relationship, work obligations, concerns about the future, and generalized anxiety, and so on and so on.
I hear you.
But left unchecked, worry and stress can easily consume you. I'm sure you've all heard stress is worse than smoking. It's like stress is
100%.
the new smoking. But with the right mindset, skills, and an action plan, you can start cutting unnecessary worry from your life. So yes, in this book that I've read many, many years ago, How to Stop Worrying and Start Living, Dale Carnegie teaches us how imagining a worst case scenario can actually stop your anxiety, and why criticism is a compliment, and why smart spending is better than a raise. So you'll come away with the right tools to build a happier, less worried mindset.
Wow.
Sounds
Nicely.
good.
Well
Yeah,
put.
yeah.
Well put.
All right. Anyway, so what is worry? Worry is focusing on outside of the present, overthinking the past, and harboring anxiety about the future. You can combat worry by shutting your mind off completely from the worries of yesterday, tomorrow, and instead focusing all your attention and energy on the present moment. This ensures that you're not only carrying one day's worth of stress at a time and keeping your thinking uncluttered. So buckle up, Good Soul fam, because in today's episode, we're going to get into our 10 favorite takeaways from the book and how your life just might be forever changed when applied to your day-to-day. How to stop worrying and start living. So welcome to the show, my love.
Hello, sweetheart.
Yeah, we just got through a really big
that's a play.
fight. We just got through a really big fight. I literally,
That's
Joe, I still have tears on my eyelashes.
Oh, please.
I know, but we're going to get through this episode, and I think it might turn out to be radio and podcast gold. What do you say?
I hope it is.
Does that sound like a plan?
I always do it for you, sweetie. For us.
Well, I would say that typically the things that we worry about are things that we fight about, or things that we're kind of worried about too, right? And usually the things that frustrate us and worry us are things that we, either see within ourselves or we've experienced in our life. And I like to say that we usually take our issues out. I like to call it misdirected hostility. That, you always used to say to me when I would get frustrated over something.
I don't even want to smile. You're like, you're saying this and meaningful. And I'm like, everything you're saying is, I hear it.
It's true.
So, yes, exactly. That's what I'm like.
When we have an argument, you go like, what's really wrong? Like we're arguing over something really silly.
Especially when we're deep in each other like we are. We understand each other a lot most of the time. Yeah.
But the thing is that I take things too personally, and you have a hothead like Ricky Ricardo. And we have to work this stuff out. What I really think we should do is and we're getting off topic here, but I think that we should definitely consider either getting a good book. Maybe we can do it on the air. We can get How to Save Your Marriage Without Talking About It, or
easy to save the marriage online.
Or we should sit down and talk to somebody. Maybe we can have a marriage counselor in, and we can work.
That's on the spot. But if you want to do it, I'll do it.
Well,
that's how it is. I think, I don't speak right away. I just let things fester and fester and fester. No, I let them fester. And then when I'm like, oh, boom.
Okay, wait a minute.
Then I'm Ricky Cartered out.
You're Ricky Ricardo. Well, I would say too that you.
Let's not focus all on me now.
We could talk about me.
Okay.
Right now, I would say that you do jump the gun. And when you calm down, that's when you get more rational. As that both of us have to learn to take a beat.
That's why lately I haven't been walking away like I usually do. I
Yeah,
usually,
but
me,
then
I
wait,
usually
there's
go,
a fine
whoa.
line. There's a fine line when somebody's talking to you and trying to explain to you what's on their mind, and walking away from them can be a little bit
But then when it
disrespectful.
becomes, see, here we go. And then when it becomes repetitive and you're saying the same thing over and
Oh,
over,
you
you're like,
never repeat yourself.
ah.
All right, let's get to number 1 of our 10 topics. We're going to start first about the futility of worry. And as I said in the intro, that 95% of the things that we worry about typically don't come to fruition, which is a really big deal. So this concept, the futility of worry, emphasizes the pointlessness of worry. Worrying doesn't change the past or predict the future. It simply steals your joy from the present moment. So Dale Carnegie, who's of course again the author of the book, encourages you to focus your energy on what you can control: your thoughts, your actions, and your reactions. It's a really big deal. So think about, like, let's look at things from a different perspective. Look at how well that you've dealt with your MS. I think you've really turned it into something of
Still, but it's still with me. It's never going to leave, and I fight every day. And
of
that's no
course you do.
joke or no lie.
Yeah. But you don't spend a lot of time worrying about what's going to go wrong next.
No, well, I don't. Well, because if you do, you're dwelling on it, and it makes it worse.
Yeah, and well, that's the part of it too. It's not only creating new problems, but also it could mean kind of cultivating or nourishing existing problems. So if you sit and talk about how your toe hurts, your toe hurts, your toe hurts, well, yeah, your toe is going to hurt, right? But if if you kind of focus on other things that are more important, more productive, most notably the present moment, right? It's going to prevent, I think,
But if the
problems from
toe's
getting.
bleeding, you got to address it. You know what I'm saying?
If the
To a
toe is
point.
bleeding, you
There's
have to
always,
address it.
balances.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, there's like also too like a physical reaction to the pain. You have a tangible result. You're like, oh, the toe is bleeding. Like, I have to stop my toe from bleeding. Whereas MS, it's nerve damage. A lot of times you can't see it. So you don't know if you met Manny other than the fact that he limps a little bit when he's even
I
and
gotta
it's
walk
even
my
getting better.
walker, my
Yeah,
wheelchair.
Of course, of course. But you wouldn't know that he has MS, which I think is really interesting.
I try because I don't like I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to feel like people are looking at me like, oh, I feel sorry. I don't know.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
You got to go
point
forward.
point number one, worrying is futile. That it's going to get you nowhere. It serves nobody in no place. Now, again, we can use it to our advantage in certain contexts because it keeps us humble, it keeps us at attention, it keeps our game face on.
Respect and everything too. It does.
Being cautious about it. Being cautious about it to me is an important thing. Number 2, living in the now. This is important. I want to do a whole episode on Eckhart Tolle's book, The Power of Now. But let's talk about the importance of living in the present moment instead of dwelling on the past or fretting about the future. Cultivate the habit of focusing on the task at hand and enjoying the simple pleasures of everyday life. I think planning for the future is really important. You have to plan your budget. You have to plan your next vacation. You have to plan when you're going to go for your coffee cup. But dwelling on it or
when you're going for your coffee cup, you got to plan it.
Yeah, you got to plan. Well, it's a little plan.
Going in this way.
It's like a little plan. You plan.
I'm only playing. I hear you. I hear
that.
you. I'm just throwing it.
Yeah, no, I know. But really focusing on living in the now, I think, is really a treasured moment. Think about starry nights. Every night we get into bed, I have a star kind of projector. Our neighbors probably think we're weird behind it. We're weird behind us, but we have a projector that projects stars on the sky, and that's one of my favorite moments where I get to kind of live in the moment.
Like just live, and you do live that moment.
Yeah. I do. I embrace it.
It's beautiful. It is nice, though.
But sweetie, love, we're out of time. Segment 1, it's a wrap. So love you guys. We'll see you for segment 2 on The Good Soul. This is, again, how to stop worrying and start living. We'll see you in a sec. All right, everybody. Welcome back to The Good Soul. Say hello, hello. Do it. Hello, hello. Episode 26. We're talking about how to stop worrying and start living. And my sweet love of my life and I are coming off of an argument. We were 5 minutes before we started shooting. We were screaming at each other. And look, here we are. But no, that was good. That was a good method, what you said. Just come up, stand up and hug me. That was really good. That was smart of you. Yeah. I'm not fully out. You're not fully out of the woods, but no, I'm only kidding. All right. So 1 and 2 of the 10 suggested takeaway methods on how to stop worrying and start living from Dale Carnegie's book with the same title. 1 and 2, the futility and the needlessness to worry. We talked about the second one, and that's living in the now. I don't want to get too much into living in the now because one of my favorite books was The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, and I would love to get
Oh,
into
you
that.
like that book.
Well, it's like
Yeah.
if you
You
look up
go to that
self,
book a lot with references.
yeah, I do. And if you look up like best self-help books of all time, I'm gonna guess that's gonna be in every top like 10 list, if not number one on many lists. It's a really great book.
You're the
So
reader. You're the reader.
yeah, yeah. Well, it's a great book. And actually I listen to a lot of my books too. So let's get to number
Do it,
three.
do it, do it, do
All
it, do
right, the 8 words that can change your life.
it.
Here we go. Ask yourself, is it the worst that can possibly happen, and then prepare to accept it. Then calmly proceed to improve on the worst. By mentally preparing for the worst case scenario, you can significantly reduce your anxiety and approach challenges with greater composure. This is really great. We have the right person sitting in that chair to talk about this because you never optimistically project or predict anything. So, in other words, you don't ever oversell anything. If we're
No.
doing something, like let's think of a good example. If we're going to a restaurant, we're like, oh, this is the best restaurant. This is the best restaurant. We're taking like Kelly and Tom. And you're like, don't oversell it
Yeah, yeah.
because
Let them feel
let
it.
them
Because if you
feel it.
do, their expectations are way up here, and you don't quite meet it, but you're still close.
Right.
But if they were down here, and they, you know what I'm saying?
Right. So kind of aligned with that theory, this is that in reverse. So
Oh,
imagining the worst, right?
yeah.
And saying to Kelly and Tom, like, this restaurant
But
is
it's kind
okay.
of the basic thing. I know what you're saying, right? But it's the
Yeah,
basic.
it's that in
Just
reverse.
yeah,
We're
yeah, yeah,
flipping
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah,
So it'd
yeah.
be like us taking Kelly and Tom to On the Nines, right? And being like, it's okay, but we just go there because Molly works there. But really, no.
No, it's
We
good.
love
We
On the
love On the
Nines.
Nines.
Yes, we love it. It's our favorite restaurant.
Yeah, I love On.
Probably besides, I would say Pastis and Balthazar, probably my all-time favorite restaurant is On the
I
Nines.
have a bunch of them. So, but it's up to you know. What I'm
Oh,
saying?
come on! What's your favorite restaurant?
I don't.
Say it.
I don't have.
Say it. We had it. Outback. Exactly.
No
Like I was
fancy
like,
stuff. No Chris. I mean,
I'm gonna-
nothing against Chris Ball. You know what I'm saying? Steakhouse is beautiful. No,
oh,
but
what, Ruth Chris?
Ruth Chris.
I've
that's
never
it, yeah,
even been
you know
to
what I'm saying?
Ruth Chris.
Oh, it's good. But again, you get when you go in the Outback.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, consistent.
It is very consistent.
That's it.
It is delicious. I mean,
it's simple, delicious. I like a lot. I like
oh my
the
God,
seasons meats and stuff. And
the coconut shrimp. Remember,
coconut
I wasn't
shrimp.
hungry.
I like shrimp on the barb. You know.
The grilled shrimp on the Barbie, that pumpernickel bread,
Yeah,
all
let's not go
saturated in
there.
butter. Okay, so yes, again, so let's think of the worst case scenario, and then and when you do build it up to that point, not only are you prepared for what's to come, but you're also thrilled and gratified when it doesn't turn out that bad, and you're like,
yeah.
it
That's what
always
I'm
reminds
saying.
me of like getting pulled over and not getting a ticket. Like you're like, oh darn it, yeah, like I got. And then when the cop walks away and he only gives you a warning, or even that, you're like,
yeah. Oh, I scored. Yes.
it's like you won the lottery. It is. It's like an adrenaline rush.
Yeah, but like you're saying, they're both the same thing. It's just the opposite of the opposite working it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
It's that in reverse.
Don't push it up so high, or don't let you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
or put it down low.
But Dale is saying no. Imagine the worst. Imagine.
No,
the
but that's
worst.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But it's just the same kind of. Like you said, it's just opposite. It's the same thought process. Imagine the worst. It's not there.
Yeah.
Imagine the best. It's not there. So you're just doing checks and balances.
Right. Exactly. Number 4, the high cost of getting even. This is a big one because we're going through something right now. Holding grudges and seeking revenge only fuels negativity and hinders your emotional well-being. The book, or Dale and Patti and Manny, encourage forgiveness and letting go of past hurts to create space for peace and happiness. I'm a big, like, if I'm having a conflict, now all bets are off in a marital conflict. Like if we're frustrated with one another, of course the serpent beast in me comes out, and people can't imagine me, acting a certain way, but that I can get really angry, and I know that you can get really angry, but with neighbors,
Not
with
me.
friends, Ricky Ricardo. No, but with neighbors, with friends, you hold a grudge.
Not a grudge. It's I do to others.
You just
as
don't
they do
forget.
unto me. I don't forget because you're not supposed to forget. I take that back. You forgive. But when it's done again, then it's done. Then I'm done. That's it. You got me once, okay. All right, mistake.
Wait a minute, you're so full of donkey dust. So because I think that you portray that on paper, because it like feels like that. But I think you have such like a gooey sweet center, and you do forgive people, and you
I
do
don't want
give them
nobody knowing that.
grace.
I don't let
Giving
nobody
away
know
his
that.
secret.
I keep that I keep
I'm
that
giving away your
sentimental stuff all
secrets.
down
No, if
inside.
like somebody irritates you. Let's say we have somebody over to the house and they're bothering you and you're like, "Oh,"
I
but
bite my
you I know
tongue.
you do not bite your
No,
tongue,
after the second or third time,
right?
no.
And then but you end up having the best time. Like you always like I almost feel like there's gratification for you in and you understand the value in not holding a grudge because you end up having even a better time
Because I
when
let
you
them know how it is. It's not
when
a grudge. It's just letting you know and saying what you feel.
this is my theory. Like, this is my feeling. Like, what are we here for to do in life? And why let other people's shortcomings, dysfunctions, even when it's attacking you, right? Your character. Why let that make you into a beast? Why not just almost like they're like a child and rather being like and I'm not saying you in particular, I'm talking in general. Like let's just talk about we're having a conflict with our neighbor. We don't have to get into detail because we're everybody's trying to find resolve in this conflict. But I'm trying and I don't have to try. I don't want to fight with anybody. I want what's right is right. It has something to do with our property line and it's all getting worked out and it's meaningless in the grand scheme of things. But and you're like, you're too nice, you're too nice, you're too nice.
Because they already showed their face and showed their
Yeah,
cards right from
but
the beginning.
just because they're having
Okay,
somebody's having a hard time
that's
and being
okay though.
ugly doesn't mean
Okay, I didn't have to be. But the point being, property lines are different. And I was saying that's not the property lines. We took now we got the pictures to
right. Well,
prove it
that's
was.
all. We don't have to get into the
But I'm
details
saying,
of it,
okay,
but I'm
I was
talking
correct
about
what I said.
the way we're communicating to one
Okay,
another.
but you know how what happened the first time? I was being nice, and then that's when everything was brought
Yeah,
out. I had
yeah.
a feeling. I'm not saying I'm the best, but I'm good at usually judging a person.
Everybody is.
Yeah,
But anyway,
you got that feeling,
everybody has
that
an
inner feeling.
intuition.
Yeah,
You're not
intuition,
yes,
exactly.
everybody has an
All right, so
intuition.
I had it.
Yeah.
He let it known. They let it known. Like the first week we're in there, okay, with
Right.
that, and then other little things just kept on adding up and adding up, and then after a while, that's it. No more. You know, if you're going to be this way, why should I portray a fake me and try to be the nicest person when you're
Well, I
not
don't
that
say that, but
and
you don't think in general, and I'm gonna kind of break away from that particular topic, but you don't think in general there's a way that you can't shift the narrative in a situation like that and
that's
be
the whole
like,
point.
buddy, like listen,
That's
you
what we did
know,
in the beginning. I tried in the beginning. You saw my
well,
text, and then he came back with a
yeah,
nastier text,
right,
and
right.
I was like,
Well, I don't know.
okay,
I
okay, but I not retaliate. I respond in
you react
accordance to what is coming at me.
what so you don't think that's giving your power away and
It's not
allowing
giving me power
and
because I
who
don't
what did we
because
talk about
you
right from
know
the beginning? Your
because
how
you know I am. But if you don't stand ground, people take advantage of it and they push you. And they keep on pushing until they finally you go, oh, that's enough. And then okay. But by then you're already
well, in a case like this,
if it's
the
like this and
boundary
like
is the
this,
boundary. There's
and
no
I understand that. And that's
yeah, it's
why I'm
black
not
and
saying.
white.
And but they're the ones, oh, your chair arm is
Okay, so
come
here's where this is what
on.
makes me sad, and I'll say this that that again, their anger, their frustration, their grudge towards us, let's say. Like clearly, I'm like, right, they just we're not their cup of tea.
And
And
we got a
okay,
lot of
and
other
that's
people
okay.
saying stuff too that
Okay, that's fine.
back what we're
But
saying.
okay. But then it's like then we start shift like what ended up happening was I figured out like this person, these people think that we intentionally like made ourselves at home on their property. And because they're holding a grudge, they think we intentionally did things that we intentionally didn't do, that our survey said one thing and they're saying,
We
right,
have
our state,
pictures.
we thought that,
There's
right.
pictures.
So, and that's where I think it really muddies the waters and makes the world a hard place to
But
live in.
and again, they're the ones being an aggressor in the first
Right.
place.
But what did we
We're
talk
just
about?
holding our ground.
Yeah.
And if somebody keeps on throwing stones at you, you're not going to, okay, keep on throwing stones. It's okay.
Well,
Are you having a great day? No. You're throwing a stone once, two, three
okay,
times into the stone
I
back at you.
understand that, but then what back to what I was trying to say was they're making assumptions about us based on the fact that they're holding a grudge, and I'm now let's just talk in general terms.
Okay, but
That
I'm sorry.
that's okay. That because they're holding a grudge, they're not thinking clearly, and they're making up stories about who we are and what we stand for, and that I think is part of why it's so counterproductive to hold grudges and carry resentments towards people. We don't have to talk about why they're wrong anymore.
Okay, but again, I don't. It's just I don't say nothing. I don't.
Yeah.
It's not that I hold a
Yeah.
grudge. I just no.
Well,
I'm
but
not
then I
going out of
think,
my way. If I'm a friendly. If I like,
yeah,
you
I
know
know
how
you're
I am.
very
I'm like,
friendly.
hey. I'm
Yeah.
not going out of my way to do that. That's all. It's
Yeah.
not holding grudges. No, I'm not just going that extra step as I would
Yeah.
for any other person in
Yeah.
the world.
Well,
Anyone.
I will tell you that I know this is something, this is, potato. So I'm not saying my way is the right way or the virtuous way or the bad way, but I physically hurt when I know that when somebody thinks of me, they're like, ugh. Like I want to bring joy and light into everyone I come in contact
Which
with.
is true.
Even
That's
when
true. I
they're
know.
I think that when they're being jerks, they need us even more to put our best foot forward. On that note, we have to hit pause because we're wrapping up segment 2 already, guys. Wow.
I want to let him loose.
We'll continue on segment 3. This is The Good Soul. Again, guys, how to stop worrying and start living. See you in a few. Hello, universe. Welcome back to The Good Soul. We're on segment 3, how to stop worrying and start living. And God darn, we're all over the place in this episode. We are really all over the place, but this is good because we had a really tense couple of weeks. It came to a head 5 minutes before the show started, and I feel like you knew it was right. This is what we needed. And tonight we're going to go to On the Nines, and we're going to have 2 martinis.
One of our favorites. We gotta make that correct.
No, On the Nines is my favorite restaurant.
I say it's one of my favorites. There are so many good restaurants in Mooresville, you can't even count them.
Yeah, he likes the Outback more than On the Nines.
No, I don't. No, I like them all. I like it all.
Anyway, so all right, so we
promote all good
entrepreneurs
and businesses.
Restaurants in Mooresville. Yes, we do. We love Barrel and Fork.
That's what I'm saying.
Savannah.
So
we love, of course, Aqua Ragazza, that sweet girl.
We should make a list. That's what you should do. Make a list.
I know. We'll have a great. Well, that's a good job that's a good job for Mamie. Mamie, maybe we can have Mamie on and talk about all the great restaurants in Mooresville. So
there you go.
Anyway, I know they just had a really good segment on last week where they were naming the best downtowns in Lake Norman. And guess what got number 1?
What?
Mooresville, downtown Mooresville.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah.
I know, and I forget they called Cornelius a really, was it Corntown? I think Joe is in my ear. Joe, is that right? So they call it Corntown, Cornelius. Yeah, it's Corntown. Yeah, I thought that was cute. I like calling Mooresville Motown. Anyway, let's get back on topic.
Race City, USA.
Race City. I'll have like the most feminine, like bougie friend in from out of town, and he'll be like, "Race City, USA, man." They're like, "Yeah." Anyway, okay. So number 5, would you take $1 million for what you have? So this theory suggests a gratitude exercise. Consider all the good things in your life, even the small ones. Shift your focus from what you lack to the blessings you already possess. Fostering a sense of contentment and appreciation. I love this. So I'm a big Rhonda Byrne fan, and any kind of, super intellectual, spiritual, deep folks may make fun of me, but Rhonda Byrne wrote the book, The Secret, which to me is like chugging cool water after taking a hot yoga class. It's just a refreshing, like wash through me self-help book. And I actually read something recently, how important it is to listen to the same book over and over again. So, and that's what I've been doing. Just listening. I must have listened to The Secret probably 12 times, start to finish. But now there's a new one. It's not new. It's newer. It's called The Secret.
2.
No, the Mastering, something like Mastering Money Masterclass, something like that. And it's basically The Secret, but she talks more about financial and success. And it's not about being shallow. And like being like, oh, I want to be rich. I need a Bugatti. I need a Rolex. It's more about, wealth and prosperity and fulfillment being a direct result of something much bigger than money. Like, we have this conversation regularly. We was just, me and my friend Michelle were talking about this morning. Most of the people I've been around, like, let's say 1%ers, Molly went to a really fantastic private school where she she went to castles on play dates.
Jovi and all of them went there.
Yeah. Bruce's kids, Bon Jovi's kids. And I always say, like, some of the finest people I've ever met, hardworking. Like, I used to love looking at like the books on their bookshelves and the pictures of the places. And all of these people did not get there being jerks. They got there. And this is like a lot of politicians, same thing. We can say, oh, politicians are all shady, but no, They're not shady. They're
Well,
taking
there
time
are
away.
shady
Well, some of them
politicians.
become shady.
Menendez already in Jersey.
Yes, but you know what I'm getting at. So the one common thread, and let's kind of let speaking of politics,
Let's not talk about it.
Let's circle back. We're gonna circle back.
You're not supposed to be talking.
I sound like Jen Psaki. Let's circle back. So circling back to gratitude, and I've been listening because we've had a stressful couple of weeks. I've been listening to the Rhonda Byrne Secret to Money Masterclass every day. Like I just keep listening to it on loop because I just don't have the bandwidth right now to listen to a book I have to memorize or listen or know the story and follow a story. And
something
I don't
you already heard, but then you pick up little
and it's like really good
or whatever you call them on the way. You know
little
that
tips
you
and
didn't
this
see
and that.
that you didn't hear.
What was that? What were you?
I don't know, little shimmy.
If you got for those of you who are listening,
what about you? You do
like
your little shimmy.
I know Mayor Carney pointed out. So gratitude is the most common thread that I have found, and in any self-help book, any business success manual, any of that is gratitude. They say that's the first thing when you wake up in the morning, what you should think about first and talk about first in your mind and write down or read is all the things that you're grateful for. What I do when my feet hit the floor every single morning, right foot thank, left foot you. Thank you.
I go like this. Open, and pull the shades up and look outside. It's
he blinked
beautiful.
His eyes. And then if you notice in our bathroom, in our water closet, we have the Book of Gratitude, right? Oh, did I get paint on?
That is
on my pants. We have.
Are you kidding me? You're worried about this thing?
Yes.
All right, let's talk about the Book of Gratitude here. Come on.
Yeah, we have a book of. So you should read that every morning when you get up.
Which one? The one I like,
the Marcus Aurelius, the Daily Stoic.
I like that one.
That's like dude self-help. We should
like that.
That's another podcast. Is any stoicism?
What's the name of it again?
The Daily Stoic, but stoicism is
Marcus
Aurelius is the man.
Aurelius, that's right.
And Joe Rogan is a big proponent of his work.
All
right, so let's keep moving. Yeah, he loves Marcus Aurelius. All right, so let's keep moving. Number 6, the busy cure for worry. Idleness allows your mind to wander and dwell on negative thoughts. So Carnegie emphasizes the power of keeping yourself busy with productive activities that leave little room for worry. So we're not even just talking, to me, we're not just talking busyness. We're talking social interaction. This is the most common thread amongst people who are depressed. The number one, you talk Blue Zones, you talk Dale Carnegie, you talk Rhonda Byrne, you talk anything. The number one common thread and cure for sadness, worry, loneliness, depression is socializing, is getting out of your house. I don't care what anybody says. Of course, we all need idle time. But more than that, think about the night you didn't want to go out. No, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I don't want to do game.
Like, wow, what a great time.
Literally doing, like, if we're having game night with our friends, or if I'm going out to dinner with, Linda Doty. It's not that I don't want to ever go, but I'd rather, you want to stay in bed and watch your Netflix and cuddle up with your big, beautiful teddy bear of a husband or whatever.
Wife.
Thank you.
Go. I gotta let that go. Come on now.
But you end up going and you end up leaving with like this high on life that it can't be bottled. So, and it's
because you're out there enjoying yourself. You're letting loose a little bit. And then you come home. You're like, oh, that was great.
Well, it's almost like you're getting your mind
off of everything.
Well, not only off of anything. It's like you're getting your happy juices flowing, and somehow it
what's the word?
Endorphins. Yeah. So so that's the busy cure. So get out, stay busy, and number 7, decision. The antidote to indecision. This is big for you, man. Indecision breeds anxiety. This book encourages you to make decisions, even if they're not perfect. Taking action, even if it leads to a course correction later. It's better than staying paralyzed by indecision. How long did it take? We would not be married. We would not be living in the house we're living in if I did not say ultimatums.
Because I make sure, I like everything,
You would still be home sitting at 153 alone with your tray table, deciding what to watch on television if we didn't met. Unmarried to me. Yeah, I pushed it. I'll admit it. I'll be the first one to admit it. I pushed it with our engagement big time. That was a big one. When we go out to dinner, literally like he's a child. When they're like, and what do you want on the side? I'm like,
call me child.
I'm like, he'll have
you just call me child.
He'll have the sweet potato and cream spinach. I decide for you because I know if I don't decide for you, it's gonna take forever.
I just let you decide for me because you like to pick off my food.
Well,
What are you talking about?
touche,
I go, all right,
touche.
I like this. I'll get the main course, and then I go, what do you want to say?
Wait
What
a
do you want
minute.
this?
Wait a minute.
And then you throw in your cents.
I don't even ask you what you want for dinner unless I'm gonna really set. Like
Oh no,
last
when you're
night,
cooking, no, because I eat
I don't even
anything.
ask him.
I eat anything.
Yeah,
That's why.
he eats whatever.
Mostly anything.
He eats whatever I put him. But anyway,
But
so
you're a
no.
good cook. That's why.
Thank you.
That
Thanks.
helps out. You know what I'm saying? If you weren't a great cook, I'd be like, oh, okay, can we have just chicken every night then?
Well, there's, as you say, there's no such thing as good enough. And I disagree. Is that Manny is very much worried about perfection in everything he does. And for that reason, he needs somebody lighthearted in my life. We have to pick up on this. And I want to pick up on this because that's a big thing with you that I'd like to talk about is indecision, perfection, and making sure you don't have to make tweaks, which is something you fear, I believe. So on that note, we'll see you for segment 4 on The Good Soul, how to stop worrying and not being a perfectionist and start living. Welcome back, everybody. This is The Good Soul. I want you to do it one time. I want you to be like, oh God, stop talking like.
Welcome back. Here's The Good Soul.
He's trying to be sexy or something. I don't know what that is.
I'm just being, silly.
Oh my God, my best friend Stacy. I know you're listening because she listens to all the episodes. When she calls him Big Boy, she's quoting the lady from
sweetie.
Revenge of the Nerds. And
hey, sweetie.
Literally, when she calls, I put him on speaker, and she's like, "Hey, big boy." And if you know Revenge of the Nerds, you know the scene when Wormser knocks on the door to get them in the apartment, and the redheaded lady shows up, and she's like, "It's right next to my room. It'll be perfect for us." So, and then Manny's like, "Hey, sweet thing," and I'm like, he doesn't talk that way to me ever. He doesn't give me those googly voices.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, so let's get back to perfection. Right. There's a quote, and it's something like, perfection is the number one key to failure because it will never be perfect. So if you're seeking perfection, what do I say every day? Let's look at, okay, everybody, you see our set every week. You see our set every week, right? We can show you all the imperfections. Like every week he comes in and he's like, I got to fix that line in the wall. And the wallpaper. That's it. Yeah, like the wallpaper's off. There's all these things. There was one other. Oh, the U is killing me because it's an O. I
like the U.
Yeah, well, it's driving me
nuts.
Well, let's see.
It's not just someday you like a perfection, like almost you like point. You like the U. Worried about that U? I think that U makes whole thing. It looks like a horseshoe. Good luck.
I know. I agree. You like the U. You like the U because you were my hero. No. You cut the U for me. With
yeah.
Like, can you make this you? My hero. Yes. Okay. So everybody knows this. I'm sure your mama told you the same thing, but perfection, really, you got to be very careful with that.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Let's move on to number 6, cooperation. I'm sorry, number 8, cooperation, not competition. So, this is big. Comparing yourself to others is a good recipe for misery. Focus on your own journey and celebrate your personal growth. So this promotes cooperation and collaboration over competition, fostering a more positive and supportive environment. This is big because to me, when you look at somebody with a green-eyed monster, you are destined for failure. You are destined for failure. That if it bothers you to see other people succeed, there is something really wrong, in my opinion. Run, don't walk to the self-help aisle or to a therapist, especially if you're over the age of, I would say, 30. Yeah. It's a big problem. It's a big problem. This is why we gossip. And I'm not saying that there are not elements of this in my personality, because anybody who knows me well knows this. We gossip, we put other people down. This is where it gets political. We start kind of putting down not only the other candidate, we start putting down.
Everything's coming out. And then it escalates really rapidly.
Yeah, it gets really personal. It's all our own insecurity. That's my opinion. And to me, it's real. And I think this is Psych 101. When we are criticizing another person for something, 9 times out of 10, it's our own self-loathing. It's things about ourselves either that we hate about ourselves or we fear about ourselves coming to fruition. So just really something important to keep in mind.
I hear you.
You must empower yourself by empowering and being happy for the success of other people. That's a big one. That's a big one. I mean,
especially people I know. I'm not saying everybody, but especially people I know. I'm like, good for you. Oh, great to hear.
Well, big time. I mean, there's a thing like, yes, there can only
I
be one
encourage it.
winner in a presidential election, in a contest, in an Olympic race. Oh, speaking of the Olympics start tonight, I'm so
Oh
excited.
yeah.
In an Olympic race, there's really only one person that's going to get first place. And who's I can't remember the Olympian who, when she didn't win first place, she made like a face when she
Oh,
got
there's a
second.
lot of them.
Well, the
Carrington,
one,
the
no, she's
skater that
now,
broke, got somebody breaking a leg or something to
oh,
the
no, that's
leg.
different. I'm talking about, I can't remember, and I wish I knew her name, and I'm sorry I don't, but we can Google this and fact check it after the show. But that she didn't win first place, and she made like a mad face on the podium. And she said, "Do I regret it? No, I don't regret it. I wanted first place. I got second. It's not first. I worked my whole life. So I am mad. I am mad. So there's healthy competition. I've worked my whole
That's a
life
little too
to be
much.
an Olympian. I've worked my whole life. I've been campaigning, and millions of people in the country have been on my side, and half the country voted for the other person. So there's reasons why you can get angry, frustrated, scared, nervous, and look at the competition with contempt. But if my good friend who's in the widget business opens up a widget factory and becomes a billionaire, I am sure as heck going to be happy for her
Yeah, of
and
course.
try to learn from her and
Yeah,
grow
yeah.
from
But
her and not be like, oh,
like I said, I agree. I like I like I
mm.
no doubt I love win. Everybody, I know if you tell me you don't like to win, I don't know. That's a kind of a lie.
Depends on where. I don't
But
care if I
again,
don't win
you
in
know how I
Scrabble.
am. How I am.
He
I'm
gets
like,
mad if he doesn't win in
no, I
Scrabble.
don't. Oh, I don't get. Are you kidding me?
Okay,
I don't like to
you
lose,
like
but when I
winning.
win, I'm a good loser. I'm fine
All
losing.
right. Well, yeah.
I'm fine losing. Oh yeah, then I'm like, oh
Really though? Really?
yeah, competition's on. Then my game phase is on. Oh, I
But
want to
then
win.
once you lose,
I'm
you
gonna
put
lose.
it,
That's it.
okay. All
Yeah, it's
right.
done. Let's go have a
I
beer.
agree. All
I
right. So
always am.
Tracy Gannis, Cindy Bishop, do you agree or disagree? We have to talk about this after the show.
With
But no,
me?
you're great. I
No,
think you're
I am.
great.
I
Yeah.
think I am.
You're
I
great.
like, I love the competition. I love being competitive. I'm a very competitive person. I like
Yeah.
winning. If I don't win, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
done.
I don't care if I don't win at something I'm not really invested in, like a
Yeah,
game of Scrabble,
yeah, I
a game of
agree.
golf,
Yeah.
but in my business, like I'm trying hard to win in the podcast. I am an aspiring politician. I'd like to be a US Senator one day.
Yeah, but you're not going to go off your rockers if you don't like, not that you don't come, but if you're not, oh, I'm not as good as Joe Rogan, say, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? It's okay.
I
But,
would could
I'm
only
just being,
wish.
be
Well, and
you and
also
enjoy your ride.
you want to be you, enjoy your ride, be your most authentic self. And in a
Exactly.
case like whether it's a vote, whether it's an election, or whether it's a
Lose
podcast,
with a smile.
well, because the people decide. I mean, whenever I was talking to somebody recently about the election, they get so frustrated, and how could you? And they were voting. Are you voting for that guy? How could you? I'm voting for this guy. I'm like, listen. At the end of the day, the people will decide. The people will
Yeah,
decide.
but at the
So,
time, everybody's all fired up trying to get to that spot.
well, we live in a
Oh, that's what I'm
democracy,
saying.
and
Well,
if
that's
you're
what I'm
guy or if
saying.
you're guy or girl in
But
a case like now,
be nice when you lose. Be
yeah,
cordial or whatever words you want to
yeah,
use.
cordial, yeah,
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
take it like a
Take it,
man or a
yeah,
woman.
or a woman,
Yeah,
exactly,
yeah,
or anything you want to.
yeah. You take it and you say, okay,
It's the way it worked out.
this is how the cookie
This
crumbles.
is how the cookie crumble. Now I'm going to try harder next time.
Number 9, the power of positive self-talk. Your inner critic can be your worst enemy. The book highlights the importance of replacing negative self-talk with positive affirmations. So focus on strengths and capabilities to boost your confidence and self-esteem. Guys, I'm going to tell you, this is another one. The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer, followed up by Living Untethered, probably aside from the 4 agreements or even with the 4 agreements. But if I knew somebody was really hard on themselves, I would direct them first to the Untethered Soul. My favorite line from the Untethered Soul is, if you had a friend who talked to yourself the way you talk to you, right? Would you keep them or would you give them the old heave ho? Right? The way you talk to yourself. This is something I've been grappling a lot with lately, that I'm very, very hard on myself. And,
Yeah, you've gotten but lately you. I don't know. Maybe it's, what do you call that
the
when you?
hormones, it's
Yeah.
my age, maybe it's my age.
I mean, because you do get down. I mean, not down. You just, like you said, you get on yourself, and I'm just like, it's not. You're doing great.
Well, I'm hard on myself. Like I position myself in my mind sometimes. Like I wake up like I'm, in debt and I'm a loser and I'm this and I'm like
But it's
thinking
good to be on your
I'm
toes, though.
not in
Don't
debt and I'm not a loser.
yeah.
So let me make that clear. Like I set my mind up in a way. It's like I remember somebody once on an airplane saying
It's a shame
your
too.
position like the plane is crashing. Like when I wake up, but I snap out of it by the time I get in the car and put on my Rhonda Byrne. That I position myself in my mind like in this like fear factor. And why am I having what I would call almost like the night terrors? And I'm working on that. And
Oh,
I
I know
know
you
I'm
are. I know.
working
I
on
mean,
it.
I know.
Some might
I
call
know.
it
I know.
Catholic guilt. My father was a wonderful man. My mother was God. My mother boosted my confidence. My father boosted my confidence,
Your
but he
dad
believed
was an
so
awesome
strongly. He
man.
believed so strongly in me that whenever I fell short, which human beings fall short, our kids can be messy, they can be whiny, they can be, people fall short. That he would be right behind me, like, no, you got to work harder. You got to try this. You got to try that. I
Yeah,
wouldn't
it
say
just
he wasn't.
lifts you up a little bit, but in a different, his own way.
Yeah, he was. He was not, tough is not the word, but our daddies are our first love. They're definitely the one we want to impress. To this day, I feel like I'm like looking up at the sky, being like, did he see that?
All that man accomplished.
Yeah. Well, he's done a lot. He was a
I
great
even
guy.
go like, ooh, big Dan.
Yeah.
You know.
So last but not least, so that was a good one. And I'm gonna again, I wanna get a little bit more into my negative self-talk in a whole episode where I'm gonna have somebody on and we're gonna go over why I'm doing this.
I don't
Maybe
know why, because you're doing
EDMR.
well.
My
Doing
friend
very
is doing EDMR. It's working really well for her. Last one, and we're gonna make this quick, is get enough sleep. This goes without saying.
well.
Chronic fatigue can exacerbate worry. So Dale Carnegie emphasizes the importance of getting enough sleep for optimal mental well-being. I'm hearing this across the board. Same thing. It's worse than smoking. It's
Yes, you need
just as
sleep.
equal as stress.
Stress is
So
a
real quick,
nasty one.
let's give it a rundown. The futility of worry, it's futile. Number 2, living in the now. Number 3, the 8 words that can change your life, imagining the worst case scenario. Number 4, the high cost of getting even, don't hold grudges.
Don't.
Number 5, remember, be grateful for everything you have. Number 6, the busy cure for worry, keep busy, keep
Right
moving,
on.
stay social. Next one is making decisions and make them quick. Don't lament and worry about things too much or expect
Make it
perfection.
right.
That was number 7. Number 8, cooperation, not competition. Number 9, the power of positive self-talk. Your inner critic can be your worst enemy, God knows. And yes, number 10, get enough sleep. So guys, I hope you got a lot out of that. I'm glad that we got to flush out our tension. We're going to have a really good night together. Thank you guys for allowing us this opportunity. Always, guys, tune in to 105.9 FM WSIC on Tuesdays
all the
from
good
4 to
people
5. Yes, all the good people. You can catch us on all your favorite platforms. And don't forget, like, subscribe, share, comment, watch past episodes if you haven't already, and keep coming back. And we're going to keep bringing you awesome, fulfilling, nourishing content. We love you. I love you.
I love you too.
Yeah. Oh my God. Use that voice again. Namaste. Peace to everybody. Come back for episode 27 on The Good Soul.